Right, well, welcome back to Bluewater Boat Builder. We've got some interesting projects on the go at the moment, which I thought would follow on from our last videos regarding the shot blasting and the painting and the process that we go through on our boats. We've got 3 boats in at the moment for part of Bluewater and All Works Limited. They do a lot of the painting and shot blasting for the company. So I thought it'd be good to see what other people do and how long they can be expected to last. Just because there's 3 different boats. So this one here next to me, I've just actually purchased. The guy's done a lot of the fitting out himself. Come to the painting side, he could already see a lot of rust and stuff after only about 2 years. Primer's not really protected it very well. We wasn't sure under the waterline how bad it would be, but the customer was pretty confident. He said no, it was done properly, you know, I can't see there being any issues under the waterline. It's only 2 years old. The normal sort of stories we hear, but reality is even after 2 years the boat hasn't moved a lot, so it's been quite stationary. But you can see along the waterline, literally there's no paint left. You know, we're back to bare steel. So some of the steel's flaking off, the paint's flaking off. So this boat has actually came out the water just in time. There'll be some small pitting, I'm sure, when we shot blast it, but I think we've just about caught it. If this was left another 12, 18 months, you know, you could be 2-3 mil of pitting already. So luckily it's came out the water. Like I say, I've purchased it myself. So we're going to shot blast this boat back to white steel, to SA 2.5, all over. If you can see, even under the sloshes and around there's areas where the prime is just, it's not stuck properly. Luckily enough, there's no gloss paint on there or anything, so we've only got to take the primer off. But you can see lots of areas of problems. This is pretty standard in the narrowboat industry, which does make me laugh. You know, they get away with it, they say, oh, that's what we've always done. But you can see, you know, there's very little paint on this boat, and any marks or scratches, it's just gone straight through within 2 years. So if you had painted over the top of this and then it starts to peel off, all that nice paint you've paid a lot of money to have put on is all going to just fall off in areas. So, you know, I've managed to purchase this boat because he doesn't want the hassle of trying to blast it and paint it himself. So we're going to fully shot blast it, repaint it, and we'll show you some more videos which will come out like one of our own boats, nicely painted. Got a little bit of work to finish off inside, put a few niceties on it, put some solar panels on it, and we're hoping to market this boat back up for sale. But it should be a real good boat and a pretty good price range, to be fair. So if anybody's in the market for a nearly new boat, give us a call. Right, so here's our second boat that we're going to show you. This is coming, first sight and vision, doesn't look that bad, you know, under the waterline, a bit, you know, a bit flaky, you know, but on the whole you'd think, you know, that's not too bad, looks okay. Most mariners would pressure wash it, which is what we've done here. So we've pressure washed it. They may, you know, have a little bit of a scrape. If you're lucky, scrape any loose particles off. And then pretty much they're going to put another coat of pretty poor bitumen paint over the top, which just smooths it off a bit and makes it look pretty. And, you know, a lot of people think, well, you know, that's what they do. You know, and this has been my argument for many, many years. And this is what people don't understand. The corrosion can actually take place behind the paint, so you can't really see a lot that's happening there. But if we move over to where we've shot blasted, so we've removed all that paint and all the scale and all the years and years of painting black paint on, we could see there is quite a lot. I mean, some of these pits are probably between 2 and 3 mil, some of the deeper ones. I've only done a very small area yet, so we don't know what's going to be around the rest of the boat. Didn't look too bad. You think, you know, oh, that should be okay. We should be able to just blast it and epoxy it. But already we can see a lot of damage there. Hopefully we can just fill some of the deeper pits with a bit of weld. Hopefully it's not bad enough that it needs overplating, but we won't know until we've blasted the whole boat off. So yeah, that's what I wanted to demonstrate, that shot blasting obviously cleans it back properly. Pressure washing, you know, mine's quite a big pressure washer, but it hasn't really removed any of the paint. It's cleaned it, you know, it's enough to get a bit of poor bitumen paint back on it. But like I say, you're only covering up what's underneath. The only way to do it properly is to shot blast it off, expose all these pits, and then fill the pits with either weld or epoxy. If it's like that all over, I should do some measurements. Hopefully we can just maybe put possibly 4 or 5 coats of epoxy so we can build it right up, and she'll be good again to go for probably 7 or 8 years. If we had done the conventional system, just pressure washing, cleaning, you know, another 2 years, that's going to be even worse. Maybe another 2 years on from that, you'll be looking at similar to the boat that we're going to show you next, which is gone to that next stage where we are going to have to overplate the boat, and that's where it really starts to cost you money. So obviously the best process is, like we showed you in the earlier videos, to have it done at the start. But if you don't have it done when the boat's built, within 4 to 5 years, the best way to invest in your boat is to have it done properly. Bring it to ourselves or somebody else who does shot blasting. Blast all the paint off, all the bitumen, all the paint that's gone on over the years. Remove it so you can see exactly what the steel's like, and then put an epoxy coating on it. Peace of mind, then your investment's secure. You know, I don't want to be charging people £20,000 to redo their boat, because it's, you know, it's a lot of money. That's why I say, people say that shot blasting epoxy is unneeded and it's expensive, and you know what, I don't need to do it. It's really expensive, but compared with the cost of overplating and then having to do the job properly at a later date, it's not. It's cheaper to have it done in the first place. And as you can see, you know, it pays dividends. I mean, people for years have said, "Oh, we've always done it like that," but you know, it's in this day and age, it's crazy. You know, you should be putting better paint systems on your boat. They're not cheap. They're not cheap to maintain. Got a lot of mooring costs, cost of living going up. So you know, let's do the job properly, and happy boating. You know, it shouldn't be like this. You know, so bring your boat back to Bluewater. Let's do the job properly, and everybody's happy. Right, so here we have our third boat that we've got here at the moment, which is also coming for shot blasting and repainting. Again, the customer assured me that, you know, it's been well looked after. You know, it is a very old boat, don't get me wrong, but you know, he said he's had it regularly blacked and it's been looked after, and you know, he didn't expect it to be too bad. As you can see, I mean, whether it's had some damage or what, but the actual rubbing strips not actually adhered to the boat anymore. That's came off, and some of the pits, they've got to be well over 3 mil deep. We have tested it. There's so many deep pits that to physically try and weld them up and just fill it with epoxy is really, it's not really possible. Again, with a base plate, I should imagine it was 1/4 inch plate when originally built. You know, I mean, it looks now, you know, 3 or 4 mil on the edge, and then there's pitting underneath, exactly the same as on the side. So some of those are 2 to 3 mil. So it's got to be close to going through underneath. I don't need a surveyor to come out and tell me that this boat's virtually scrap. Can we save it? The customer asked. Yes, we can. We can overplate, we can underplate. We've blasted all the corrosion out the way, but the cost of doing something like this, you're looking between £15,000 and £20,000. We've had to shot blast it. Then to do the job properly, we need to put like a holding primer around the steel to stop the corrosion coming back. Then we've got to overplate above the waterline. We've got to underplate under the boat. So like I say, it's a lot of money. And the boat's value is probably, even if it's all done, 30,000. So, you know, and then there's still work to do inside. So the customers decided it's just not even worth doing. So we've sort of took it on as a project boat, just so we can show you on videos what we can do, how we can bring boats back to life. It may do somebody a good turn, you know, somebody who's a bit down on their luck at the moment and wants somewhere cheap to live once it's done. Hopefully we can get the engine up and running and get a few bits. So rather than just scrap it off, we thought, well, you know, we can do it, we can use it to show people how it should be done. If you're going to overplate, then, you know, you can't weld onto like what I showed you over there, but, you know, you'll be amazed how many companies do actually just overplate on top of bitumen paint. But we won't, you know, it's impossible, especially underneath. If you're welding steel plates underneath and water gets in, the plates start to dish and belly as the water gets higher and higher, and then all of a sudden it can just literally rip out the side welds and make an awful mess. So what you have to do, drill holes in the steel plate before you lift it up, and then puddle weld so that you know that the two skins are actually stuck together by the weld, so it's all stuck together so that you may get some traces of water because it's impossible to stop some, but at least with the two skins together you have got half a chance. On a canal you'll be fine. I wouldn't want to take it down the tidal Thames, to be honest, but you know, it will do somebody a good turn. It's not going to be, you know, a fantastic boat, but if somebody's looking for something cheap to live on, hopefully once we've got it overplated and we've got the engine up and running and tidied the inside a bit, we may be able to do somebody a good turn and they get somewhere cheap to live. Like I say, it came into us hoping that we could do something for the customer, but the cost just isn't really worth doing. So, you know, we've took it on as a bit of a project. I'm a bit crazy like that at times, you know. I don't like to see boats just scrapped off. So we'll see what we could do, and we'll show you the progress as we do it, the process of how we overplate properly. So yeah, it should be interesting. It's all good media stuff, you know. It shows what can be done if you've got the right processes. You're not welding on top of paint and dirty, horrible steel. You know, it's clean welding, so we should be able to get it nicely sealed up. And once we've epoxied and done a bit of filler work on the top, we'll put a decent paint job on it, and you know, it'll hopefully do somebody a good turn.